Drawn to Shirdi. Story number 1, Kakaji Vaidya of Vani. Number 2, Punjabi Ramalal of Bombay. Two chapters today. In this chapter, the story of two more devotees that were drawn to Shirdi is narrated. Preliminary. Bow to the kind Sai who is the abode of mercy and who is affectionate towards his devotees. By his mere darshan, he does away with the fear of this bhava, that is samsar, and destroys the calamities. He was first nirgun, that is formless, but on account of devotion of his bhaktas, he was obligated to take a form. To give liberation and self realization to the bhaktas is the mission of the saints, and for Sai, the chief of them, that mission is inevitable. Those who take refuge in his feet have all their sins destroyed, and their progress is certain. Remembering his feet, Brahmins from holy places came to him and read scriptures and chant the Gayatri Mantra in his presence. We who are weak and without any merits do not know what bhakti is, but we know this much, that though all the others may leave us, Sai won't forsake us. Those whom he favors get enormous strength, discrimination between the unreal and the real, and knowledge. Sai knows fully the deserve of his devotees and fulfills the same. Hence they get what they want and are grateful. So we invoke him and prostrate ourselves before him. Forgetting all our faults, let him free us from all anxieties. He who, being overcome with calamities, remembers and prays Sai, thus will get his mind calmed and pacified through his grace. This Sai, the ocean of mercy, says Hemad Pant, favoured him, and the result is the present work, Sai Satcharitha. Otherwise, what qualifications that had he, and who would undertake this enterprise? But as Sai took all the responsibility, Hemad Pant felt no burden nor any care about this. When the powerful light of knowledge was there to inspire his speech and pen, why should he entertain any doubt or feel any anxiety? Soy got the service in the form of this book done by him. This is due to the accumulation of his merits in the past births, and therefore he thinks himself fortunate and blessed. The following story is not a mere tale, but pure nectar. He who drinks it will realize Sai's greatness and all pervasiveness. Those who want to argue or criticize should not go in for those stories. What is wanted here is not discussion, but unlimited love and devotion. Learned, devout, and faithful believers are those who consider themselves as servants of saints, while like and appreciate these stories, others will take them to be fables. The fortunate bhaktas of Sai will find the Sai Leelas as a kalpataru, that is, wish fulfilling tree. Drinking this nectar of Sai Leelas will give liberation to the ignorant jivas, satisfaction to the householders, and the sadhana to aspirants. Now, let us come to the story. Kakaji Vaidya. There lived in Vani, Nashik district, a man named Kakaji Vaidya. He was the priest of goddess Sapta Shringi there. He was so much overwhelmed with adverse circumstances and calamities that he lost peace of mind and became quite restless. Under such circumstances, one evening, he went into the temple of the goddess and prayed unto her from the bottom of his heart and invoked her aid to free from anxiety. The goddess was pleased with his devotion, and the same night appeared to him in his dream and said to him, "You go to Baba, and then your mind will become calm and composed." Kakaji was anxious to know from her who that Baba was, but before he could get any explanation, he was awakened. Then he began to think as to who might be Baba, to whom goddess has asked him to go. After some thinking, he resolved that this Baba might be Trayambakeshwarar, that is Lord Shiva. So he went to the holy place named Trayambak, which is in Nashi district, and stayed there for 10 days. During this period, he bathed early in the morning, chanted the Rudra hymns, and did the Abhishekam, that is pouring in unceasingly fresh cold water over the pindi, and did other religious rites, but with all that, he was restless as before. Then he returned to his place and again invoked the goddess most pitifully. That night she again appeared in his dream and said, "Why did you go to Triambakeshwaran in vain? I meant by Baba, Sri Sai Samarth of Shirdi." The question, therefore, before Kakaji now was how and when to go to Shirdi and how to see Baba. If anybody in his real earnest to see a saint, not only the saint but God also, fulfills his wish. In fact, the Sant, that is saint, and the Anant, that is the God, are one and the same. There is not the least difference between them. If anybody thinks that he will go himself and see the saint, there will be mere boast. Unless the saint wills it, who is able to go and see him? Even the leaf of the tree won't move without his bidding. The more anxious a bhakta is for the saint's visit, the more devout and faithful he is, the more speedily and effectively is his wish satisfied to his heart content. He who invites anybody for a visit also arranges everything for his reception, and so it happened with Kakaji. Let us go to the next story, Shama's vows. When Kakaji was thinking to visit Shirdi, a guest came to him at his place to take him to Shirdi. He was no other than Shama, a very close and intimate devotee of Baba. How he came to Vani at this juncture, we shall just see. Shama was very severely ill when he was very young, and his mother had taken a vow to her family goddess Saptashringi at Vani. If the son got well, she would bring and dedicate him at her feet. After some years, the mother herself suffered much from ringworms on her breast. At the time, she again took another vow to her deity that if she got all right, she would offer her 2 silver breasts. These 2 vows remained unfulfilled. At her deathbed, she called her son Shama to her and drew his attention to the vows, and after taking a promise from him that he would fulfill them, she breathed her last. After some time, Shama quite forgot about these vows, and thus 30 years elapsed. About this time, a famous astrologer had come to Shirdi and stayed there for a month. His predictions in the case of Sriman Bhuti and others came true, and everybody was satisfied. Shama's younger brother Bapaji consulted him and was told that his mother's vows and his elder brother promised to fulfill that her deathbed were not fulfilled, promised to fulfill but not fulfill, and bringing them troubles on them. Bapaji told this to brother Shama, who was then reminded of unfulfilled vows. Thinking that any further delay would be dangerous, he called a goldsmith and got a pair of silver breasts prepared. Then went to masjid, prostrated himself before Baba, and placing it before him, the 2 silver breasts, requested him to accept them and free him from the vows, and he was to him his Saptashringi goddess. But then Baba insisted upon him to go to himself to the temple of Saptashringi and offer them in person at the feet of the goddess. Then after taking the Baba's permission and Udi, he left for Vani and searching for the priest came to Kakaji's house. Kakaji was very anxious to visit Baba, and Shama went there to see him at the very same time. What a wonderful coincidence this is. Kakaji asked him who he was and whence he had come. On learning that he came to Shirdi, at once he embraced him. So overpowered was he with love. Then they talked about Sai Leelas, and after finishing the rites of Shama's vows, both started to Shirdi. On reaching the place, Kakaji went to masjid and fell at Baba's feet. His eyes were soon bedoued with tears, and his mind attained calmness. According to the vision of goddess, no sooner did he see Baba that his mind lost all the restlessness and he became calm and composed. Kakaji began to think in his mind, what a wonderful power is this? Baba spoke nothing. There was no question, no answer, no benediction pronounced. The mere darshana itself was so conductive to happiness. The restlessness of my mind disappeared by his mere darshan. Consciousness of joy came upon me. This is what is called the greatness of darshan. His vision was fixed on Sai's feet and he could utter no word. Hearing Baba's Leelas, his joy knew no bounds. He surrendered himself completely to Baba, forgot his anxiety and cares, and got undiluted happiness. He lived happily there for 12 days and after taking Baba's leave, Udi and blessings, and returned home. Let us go to Kushaltand of Rahata. It is said that a dream which we get in small hours of morning generally comes out true in the waking state. This might be so, but regarding Baba's dreams, there is no restriction of time. To quote an instance, Baba told Kaka Sahib Dikshit one afternoon to go to Rahata and fetch Kushal Chand to Shirdi, as he did not see him since long. Kaka Sahib accordingly took the thanga and went to Rahata. He saw Kushal Chand and gave him Baba's message. Hearing it, Kushal Chand was surprised and said he was taking a noon nap after meals when Baba appeared in his dream and asked him to come to Shirdi immediately, and when he was anxious to go. As he had no horse of his own nearby, he had sent his son to inform Baba. When his son was just out of the village border, Dikshit Tanga turned up. Dikshit then said that he was sent specially to bring him. Then both went to the Tanga back to Shirdi. Kushal Chand saw Baba and were all pleased. Seeing this Leela of Baba, Kushal Chand was much moved. Let us go to the last story of the chapter 30, Punjabi Ramlal of Bombay. Once a Punjabi Brahmin of Bombay named Ramlal got a dream in which Baba appeared and asked him to come to Shirdi. Baba appeared to him as a Mahant, that is saint, but he did not know whereabouts. He thought that he should go and see him, but he knew not got any address. He did not know what to do. But he who calls anybody for an interview makes necessary arrangements for the same. The same happened in this case. The same afternoon, when he was strolling in the streets, he saw a picture of Baba in a shop. The features of the Mahant that he saw in the dream exactly tallied with those of the picture. Then he made enquiries and came to know that the picture was of Sai Baba at Shirdi. He then went soon he then went soon after Shirdi and stayed till his death. In this way, Baba brought his devotees to Shirdi for darshan and satisfy their wants, material as well as spiritual. Let bow to Sri Sai. Peace be to all. We'll meet you with the 31st chapter next week. Om Sri Sai Ram.